Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV, and I'm the editor here at MetaStellar. Every day, the gang here at MetaStellar reads the top 10 free sci-fi and fantasy books on Amazon. Or we try to, we don't always get far. And today I got some help from reviews editor AMIRA LOUTFI and one of our community members, Nick Nebertovsky. And AMIRA is joining us here today. Hi, AMIRA. Whichever direction you're in there. Nice to see you. I missed you last week.
Yeah, it's nice to join you again.
So today's list has space opera, angels and demons, witches, fairies, and plenty of sexy supernatural action. Well, every week's list has plenty of sexy supernatural action, I think. The link to the full article is in the description box below, as well as links to all the books that we mentioned. For those who are new to the channel, MetaStellar is an online magazine of speculative fiction. All the content is always free for our readers, and we publish original short stories, reprints, excerpts, essays, and lots of book reviews. We're able to do this thanks to the generosity of our Patreon supporters. Thanks, guys. We love you. And let us get into it. The first book was, here we go, Mercury Blade. It's by James David Victor. It's a space opera. The other books are $4 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited, so you'd have to pay money for them. And Nick Nebertovsky did the review. He says that the main character, Elliot, is the captain of an independent vessel and one of the fastest and best smugglers in the galaxy. But then he decides to double-cross a client over a small box of cargo and winds up in a chase that might decide the fate of the universe. He says it's a good example of a small crew adventure in a wide-ranging universe. The plot moves along pretty quickly at the start of the book, and there's some information dumping, but he says you can just ignore it. He says this reminds him of shows like Firefly and Solo, and looks like it will be a lead-in to swashbuckling small crew adventure and pseudo-noir galactic mysteries, which sounds awesome. So I'm gonna have to check this out. Thanks, Nick, for that. The only thing that worries me is that the rest of the books are not in Kindle Unlimited. For those of you who don't know, Kindle Unlimited is like the Netflix of books. You pay $10 a month and you read all the books that you want. Otherwise, you have to buy each book separately. And I am a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, so I'm always keeping an eye out for Kindle Unlimited books because I get to read the book at no additional cost and the author still gets paid, which is a win-win. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which AMIRA, you read Covet the Night by Rebecca Main, right?
Yeah.
What did you think?
So, I mean, it's okay. It's good. It was intriguing. I was kind of wondering how it's gonna end. But now I kind of forgot about it after a while, so I don't know if I'm actually gonna come back. So basically it's about this young girl who is dying, and she received an invitation to join a group of immortal vampires. They would make her also an immortal vampire, right? And so the issue with this group is that they don't want any damaged goods. But this girl is damaged goods because she was dying, right? Or she is dying. She has horrible cancer, like a horrible case. And she has to make it through the initiation ritual, which is a set of 3 tests. and then she'll, she could become a vampire. In order to make it through the tests, she needs this elixir that can keep her alive, strong, healthy, long enough to get through, the challenges. But at the end of the last challenge, right, it will destroy her health, right? It'll like almost kill her, right? And that is if she doesn't become a vampire. So the stakes are pretty high, obviously. And it's pretty kind of a dark story, right? Because the sorcerer who got the elixir for the girl was killed because of it, because they didn't want anyone to find out her secret that the main character is like really weak and might die. So yeah, I mean, I would say the writing is okay. It's kind of has like sapphic vibes, but as far as I know, nothing happened. Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to be back.
All right. So the next book that we have is Fractured Souls by Ava Marie Salinger, and here's the cover here. The first of 4 books in the Fallen Messengers urban fantasy series. The second and third books are $5 each. The 4th book will be coming out this month, and the entire series is in Kindle Unlimited. So I love the beginning. Cassius Black has just been hired to find an old lady's cat, and he's down in the sewers looking for it. He's getting sewer muck on his brand new jeans. Plus, the cat is demonic, so he thinks maybe he should have charged the old lady more. I like the start of this. And when he catches up to this cat, it looks like it's been wounded. When he catches up to it, Cassius plans to either take the cat to a shelter that specializes in demonic animals, or take it somewhere outside the city to release it into the wild, unless it was too badly hurt and he has to put it down. So he's got a soft spot for demonic cats. I like that about him. But while he's down in the sewers, he comes across a bigger demon, one that's chomping on part of a human body. He doesn't want to kill the bigger demon. It's just having a snack. It's not the one that killed the human, and somehow Cassius can tell that the demon isn't the murderer, and says as much to the demon, but the demon attacks him anyway. There's a battle. Cassius kills it. He continues on, finds the rest of the man's body, as well as the signs of a black magic ritual. Oh, and he finds the cat. And he's examining the runes that are written on the altar when he hears shouting, and a dozen angel agents with flashlights close in on him from all sides. He grabs the demon cat, unfurls his wings, and rises up, smashing through a metal grating and disappearing into the night. Awesome. I love this beginning. It's like everything I want in a book. So then he goes back to his penthouse apartment, where his bisexual neighbor is having very loud sex. There's a lot of explicit descriptions of body parts. The neighbor comes out on the balcony. The neighbor is naked and extremely well endowed and handsome. And Cassius himself also happens to be naked at this time. Then the agents track him down. Apparently, he was seen leaving the sewer, and his wings are pretty distinctive. And they start shooting at him with special magical bullets that can hurt him. So I don't know how I feel about this. On the one hand, it gives off very strong vibes of the TV show Lucifer, which I love, where Lucifer was a fallen angel with wings and a soft spot, not for demon cats, but for LA detective, but still. And there was a lot of sex in that show, including gay male sex. And Lucifer was just fine with all that. And I was fine with that. And everybody was fine with that. Everybody loved that show. It's one of the most popular shows on Netflix. But this book's a little bit more explicit. So I don't know if we're going to be reading this or not. But I might stick with it just to see where it's going. I mean, I like that demon cat. And I like Cassius himself when he's got clothes on. So yeah, maybe I'll stick with it. All right, and the next book, Amira, you read this one as well, Savage Lands by Stacey Marie Brown, the first of 6 books in the Savage Lands Paranormal Urban Fantasy series. The other books are $5 to $7 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. Here's the picture of it. Amira, what did you think of this book?
I mean, it was well written, but I'm definitely not going to be coming back to it. It was pretty exciting. It takes place in a dystopian Budapest where Fae have taken over half the city. The protagonist is a young woman who loves to rob trains. There's one that travels at night between the 2 sides of Budapest, over a river and through an island, right? And she's really generous. She's not generous. She gives her treasures to other people, the things she robs, right? But she's not doing it to be a hero. She keeps doing it because she's just really proud of herself, and she just really loves robbing trains. It really just makes her so happy. She's in love with a gorgeous boy that she grew up with. His father is a really powerful man, and other people are afraid of him. They are both powerful warriors. They train together, and they also rob trains together. So, yeah, so I just found like the romantic part of this story, the little that I've read of it, to be really kind of lame. Just because I feel like it's just a lot of like similar tropes that maybe are like helping to fulfill wishes of like teenage girls, right? So yeah, so that doesn't really do it for me. Within the story, the humans live in a walled-off city that is run by the Human Defense Forces. So it's called Human Defense Forces. That kind of reminds me, or that really reminds me of the Israeli Defense Forces. And there also is a wall, and the Fae and the humans have different feelings about the wall. And so that also reminds me of a certain political crisis that, is going on in real life. And yeah, so even though like the writing was good, I didn't like the romance, and I wasn't into like a setting that reminds me of like a modern day like ongoing political crisis, right? It's just, yeah, so I'm definitely not coming back to it, even though it was good. I recommend it if it doesn't bother you. So
all right. Okay, so next up we have Consort of Secrets by Eva Chase, the first of 6 books in the Witches Consort's romantic fantasy series. The other books are $3 to $5 each, and the entire series is in Kindle Unlimited. And here you have the book cover. This isn't the first time this author has been on the list. In April, we reviewed Claimed by Gods, the first of 4 books in their Dark Valkyrie paranormal romance series. And then another series we reviewed back in March, and all those links are in the article that we link to below. So the story is set in the modern day. Rosalind is engaged to Derek. In 2 months, he's going to become not only her husband, but her consort in magic, whatever that means. She's nearly 25, but she's never even kissed a guy. And she's her dad's only heir, And so she's about to become owner or part owner or something of the family estate. Meanwhile, she misses her childhood friends, 5 boys that she grew up with, whose parents worked on the estate. They're still in the area. If only she had a way to get in touch with them without her stepmother finding out. So she leaves a signal, and one of them climbs a tree up to her window and offers to help her get in touch with the other boys. There's never been anything between them in the past, but now he's all grown up and sexy. So I guess she's been away for a while. And this boy has grown up to be a hot computer programmer, but who's still climbing trees up to her window. So yeah, so this sounds suspiciously like a setup for a romance novel. So I went and checked. And yes, it is a romance. Specifically, it's a reverse harem romance. Rosalind is going to end up with all of these boys. So I'm going to nope out of it. Not because I'm opposed in principle to the girl ending up with all the boys. I mean, why should you have to choose? Have all the boys. But, I don't like all this mushy romantic stuff. I got a heart of coal. That's me. I'd rather have some nice murders. All right, so next we have Tangled Dreams by Cecilia Dominic, the first of 3 books in the Dreamweavers and Truth Seekers urban fantasy series. The other books are $3 to $4 each. The second book is in Kindle Unlimited, but the third book is not. So Audrey is a journalist who works for her brother at the local newspaper. She's got a crush on a local cop, but she doesn't want to ask him out because her dad was a cop and he died. So she's dating Kyle, a medical resident who doesn't treat her particularly well. Then she starts hearing voices, a mother screaming for a missing baby, and she's seeing things like winged fairies in line at the local coffee shop. And of course, all this stuff that she's seeing is real. And there's an organization called the Truth Seekers, which is dedicated to law enforcement among supernatural beings that needs her help. A goddess has disappeared from the magical world and is somewhere on Earth missing. And meanwhile, the sexy cop has problems of his own. Mysterious women keep showing up in town with no memory of who they are. So it definitely looks like a cozy, romantic, fantasy, mystery kind of thing. Audrey's a little bit too much of a pushover for my taste, but she's nice, and the story is light and fun. And I might stick with it this weekend. I could use some light funness. All right. Okay. Next we have a book by Wight, the third book in the Traveler's Gate Epic Fantasy Trilogy. We also have the second book in the same series, and we have the first book in the same series. So this is the second time these books have been on this list. We previously reviewed them in November. And in fact, Wight is a regular on this top 10 list. He writes a lot of fantasy. We previously reviewed his Cradle epic fantasy series. So the links to that are in the article. So if you want to check those books out. So I only read part of the first book since I didn't want to spoil the other 2 for me back in November. And I thought I was going to come back to it and finish it, but I never did. So it's an epic fantasy. It starts out when our protagonist, Simon, is 8, he's on a trip with his parents. They're merchants traveling from village to village, selling their goods. So it's a classic fantasy setting. They're attacked by magic users called travelers, who are able to summon toxic mists and horrible creatures. Simon's father is killed. His mother's driven insane. And another stranger shows up and kills the 2 travelers, saving Simon's life and what's left of his mom's life. And the stranger takes Simon and his mother back to the village that they come from. And now it's 8 years later. Simon is still taking care of his mother. And the whole village is attacked by soldiers of the Overlord. and they try to escape. And he's carrying his mother, and the soldiers are there to collect people for a sacrifice, and they'll burn down the whole village if they resist. And the soldiers have a traveler with them who can open gates between worlds. And Simon and a few of the villagers run away and hide in a cave. Many are killed. 9 villagers are captured and taken. So this is all a very tense, lots of action in this beginning. And there's one of the refugees has magical powers, and there's fighting, and there's magical battles. So it was a little confusing, but I found it exciting. And I really thought I was going to come back. I mean, I did read several books in the Cradle series, and Will Wright's writing is extremely readable. So I do recommend him highly. But I never really got back to it. So possibly because the protagonist is young adult, and you know me, I hate young people. You know, get off my lawn, get off my lawn, you pesky kids. So I didn't wind up going back to it, but I still might because the story's fun and it is exciting. So I do recommend it. And finally, it's another book that I also looked at, Flames of Chaos by Amelia Hutchins. The first of 4 books in the Legacy of the 9 Realms paranormal romance series. The other books are $6 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited. So the story is that the goddess Hecate, one of those Greek goddesses, has a daughter Freya, or Roman goddesses. Freya likes the company of men a lot and keeps having children she can't take care of. She's got daughters, 4 sets of twins who are raised by their aunts. All of them are witches. Now, one of those granddaughters is missing in the mortal realm, and the other sisters go to Earth to track her down. So all their fathers are different. So the sisters have inherited all kinds of magic from their biological dads, whoever they happen to have been, nobody knows. So 2 of the sisters are alpha wolves, 2 of them are sirens, 2 are succubi, and Arya, the protagonist, doesn't even know what she is. And so they arrive in a mortal town called Haven Falls, who's ruled by a man who set himself up as king. He and Arya clash, and they have this kind of sexy banter battle that involves her uprooting a tree because she's a witch, and they hate. He hates witches. A lot of swearing in this book right from the start. A lot of sexual tension, so you know that they're going to get back together. So it's not my thing, but it is the thing for a lot of readers. The book has more than 4,000 5-star reviews. So prepared for some explicit language. It does have a light banter rom-com kind of feel to it. And there's family drama, and there's immortal politics. So if that's your kind of thing, then pick it up. It's free. All right. So those were the books that we had today. You can, like I said, all the links down below. Let us know if you read them. Let us know if you like them. Tell us what you think. And if you have any other recommendations for books for us to check out, leave them in the comments down below. All right. Well, thanks, AMIRA, for joining me here today. And thanks to everybody. If you like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe, and check out our magazine. All right. And I hope everybody has a great summer and a good weekend coming up. Bye, Mira.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.